Hey there, my fellow lunatics, and welcome to Dakon's Madhouse. Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Madhouse, and today we are going to do a guide to Ghorm. We're going to talk about strategies to kill him, we're going to talk about what he's like, and we're going to talk about like gear that you could use, things like that. Just what you need to prep and to be able to take down Ghorm. Your general kind of guide. I'm blabbing. Let's just get started. First, let's talk a little bit about gear. Now, you can go in here with a little bit of armor. You don't really need all of that much. Mostly what you need to focus on for Ghorm is being able to do a lot of damage quickly in order to get him to stop moving and actually start fighting you. So having things that reduce the impact of your slowed movement, such as the rubber boots or the raincoat, can be extremely helpful in this case because you may have to chase Ghorm down the track a little bit, doing damage to him while he's running away from you. And being able to keep up speed is definitely helpful. So these two pieces of armor are definitely something you're going to want to consider. The Explorer backpack is an excellent item to have at this stage in the game as well. You get it at the tin workbench. It increases your movement speed, and it's probably going to have the highest inventory slot options for you at this time in the game as well. So I highly recommend that you use the Explorer's backpack as part of your gear. At this point in the game, you're also going to want to have a jewelry workbench and to be able to craft certain pieces of jewelry, because the copper cross necklace is really handy at this time in the game. And if you're playing ranged, you're absolutely going to want to get your hands on the gold crystal ring. It's really useful. Magic users are going to want to use the glow tulip ring because it is really, really nice for magic users. Very helpful for summoners as well. And if you're melee, or really anyone right now, because you're going up against Ghorm, the Swift Ring. You need movement speed, so being able to move faster is very handy, and the Swift Ring is going to give you that. So being able to craft jewelry is really important at this point. If you have a wood farm at this point in the game, then you may already have your crafting skill up at 100. Now, you may not at this point in the game yet, and that I perfectly understand. If you have gotten your crafting up to 100 because you've either spent a lot of time in the Forgotten Ruins and have a lot of stone, or you've put together a wood farm and as such you have a ton of wood, you're able to make just an insane amount of bridges, then you will have the ability to do Jewelry Crafter as a skill. This will give you access to the polished versions of all of those rings and necklaces that I was just talking about. And the polished versions are significantly better. In fact, they're really designed for post-wall kind of stuff. So getting polished rings and polished necklaces this early in the game, before you've even killed Ghorm, is going to really, really make things overpowered for you. If you're able to do it, I highly recommend it. Now for this fight, I definitely recommend that you are either using ranged or magic or summons or a combination of these. Melee doesn't do quite as well against Ghorm just because you do have to chase him down and he is so fast. Now, you can get a little melee once Ghorm actually starts attacking. So if you're really a melee-focused player and you just want to use something else to get his attention and then switch back to melee, that's perfectly reasonable. So for this one, what I'm going to go ahead and do is I am wearing a ranger hood, and I am wearing a caveling chest, and I'm wearing bronze pants. Now, at the moment, I'm wearing the polished versions of these rings, but I'm going to switch that up in just a second here. Now I've gone ahead and I've switched back to the normal copper cross and the normal gold rings, just so that I'm not going overpowered. I can show you that this can be done with the weaker materials as well. Now I'm also currently using a rift lens. You don't have to use whatever offhand is best for you in your build. I really like the teleport on this, and it's helpful to get out of sticky situations. So I use this a lot. The Swift Feather is also really good. Shields are really good. Shields are really good. So use whatever works best for you. Let's talk real quick about the skills. Now, when it comes to skills to fight Ghorm, you're going to want to have whatever your combat skill is. About the 10 to 20 range is about what you're going to want to see. If you have it higher, great. That's just better. What I've done to make things a little bit easier is I've only used my skill points up to the first level and then 1 point into the next level, even though in some of these I can go higher. The point is you don't need your skills to be very high to fight Ghorm. He's a relatively easy boss. Just get your skills into 10, 20. If you want to get it up to 30, that's overkill, but great. You'll be doing just fine. When it comes to spending your skill points, you can spend them anywhere because the skills in these first 2 tiers, they're all good. So you can't go wrong with picking any skill. Just get your primary weapon as high as you possibly can. In order to start the Ghorm fight, you're going to need to get Ghorm's attention because Ghorm runs around this track that he's created here, and he just runs around it and runs around it in a circle, and he will ignore you unless you do enough damage to him. You'd have to do about 20% of his health before he will stop running in the track and actually start chasing and hunting you down. So how do you get his attention? Well, there's a variety of ways that you can do this. The old-fashioned ways, and my personal preference because I'm old-fashioned, are to use spike traps. You can use wooden spike traps or you can use tin spike traps. It doesn't matter. You're going to need more wooden ones than tin ones, but either one works just fine. You place the traps along Ghorm's track and you wait for him to run over them. And when he does, he will eventually take enough damage if you've placed enough traps, and he will start to attack. Sometimes you may not place enough traps, and if you don't, he'll just go right on over them and keep on running, in which case you have to start attacking him. Hopefully by the time he's run over these traps, you've done enough damage to him that a few shots from your bow or your staff will be enough to actually get him to start attacking. However, there are other methods that you can use in order to get Ghorm to slow down. And those methods involve explosions. So we have a couple of options. We have explosive deposits and we have dynamite packs. Both of these are craftable. Dynamite packs can be made at the electronics workbench, and they take 2 bomb peppers, 2 slimes, and a tin bar in order to craft each one. Explosive deposits can be crafted at the alchemy workbench, and they take 2 bomb peppers or 2 woods. Now, you can also use regular bombs, crude bombs, or if you happen to have found any, large bombs as well, although I don't think you'll have found any at this point. If you don't want to craft the explosive deposits, you can, like I say, use regular bombs, but I'll show you why those are not the ideal method in just a second. So if you want to lure Ghorm with bombs, you could drop it, but the moment you place it, the timer for the bomb starts, and then it goes off as soon as that timer ends. So you have to see Ghorm coming and basically just chain your bombs like that and hope that you time it perfectly in order to get Ghorm to actually stop moving and start attacking. The explosive deposits essentially can function the same way, giving you all of that extra explosives just like a bomb, except the explosive deposit won't start its timer until you strike it. Now, Ghorm can walk right over it and not trigger it, so you don't want to wait for that. Instead, what you want to do is wait until you see Ghorm coming. Like, let's assume Ghorm is coming. I would then run up to it, hit it, and then run out of the way, and the explosion chain reaction begins, and I hope that my timing is right. Again, might take some practice. You got to get your timing down in order to make that work. Oh, there's Ghorm. The final method is to use the dynamite packs. These, I think, are probably your best bet. You can put a whole bunch of them down, and as long as they're all adjacent to each other, they will trigger off of each other. And then place some wires a few tiles away and a lever. And in this case, now you can control exactly when these things blow up because they're not on a timer. They explode instantly. So if I flip this switch, boom, they all go off. Now, if I do that while Ghorm is running over them, Ghorm is very likely going to just flat out die. But if he doesn't die, he's going to start running around and attacking. This is honestly, I think, the best method in order to be able to get a hold of Ghorm and fight him, because if the explosion doesn't kill him straight off the bat, he will actually start attacking because these explosive packs do so much damage. And it's also a method where you have the most control, as you can trigger it exactly when Ghorm comes over. So let's go ahead and show you an example of what this looks like when Ghorm's actually coming across the track. So a bit of advice when you are setting this up, make sure that your lever is turned off and that your wires have no power, because if you do start placing your dynamite down and you connect it to your wire and you've left the power on, you will immediately explode. I discovered this the hard way while I was trying to reset this back up right before Ghorm arrived and blew myself up. One thing that you'll find helpful is the Ghorm scanner can tell you exactly where he is on the track, and that can help you know when he's getting close. In this instance, I can tell he's on his final approach, so we're just going to go ahead and get ready to see if we can blow him up. All right, so I have got a nice little setup here with my bombs, and let's see, here comes Ghorm. Let's see if we can blow him up. Boom! So we've hit him and we've aggroed him and we've got him to half health. So at this point, what Ghorm's going to do is he's going to basically move around in kind of like a figure 8 pattern because he can't see us. Again, Ghorm is blind. So he's just going to try to find us, and we can hit him with melee, we can hit him with our spells, we can hit him with ranged. You basically just have to stay out of his way as he moves around in this circle and just keep shooting him with whatever weapon you've got until he goes down. The hardest part of this fight is getting Ghorm's attention. Once you've defeated Ghorm, the important things that you'll have are the mysterious idol. This is useful for summoning the caveling NPC. This NPC gets you the items that you need to resummon other bosses. So this is a really important NPC to get. And then you also need Ghorm's horn here. These are the two most important things from his loot, and they drop every time. Once you've defeated Ghorm, you're going to want to come back to your core, go to Ghorm's statue, and place Ghorm's horn within the statue. This will give you access to 3 more craftable items. The Larva Spike Club, which is a really strong early game weapon. The Grubzooka, which is a really excellent early game mining tool, but it really drops off once you leave the core area. And the Recall Idol. This will teleport you back to the core no matter where you are on the map. And if your base is at the core, this is basically a free teleport back to base. So you're going to want to craft a whole bunch of these and keep them stocked pretty regularly. So let's take a look at Ghorm's loot table real quick. Ghorm has several items that are going to drop every time. He drops his chest. We already talked about his horn, as well as the mysterious idol. He's also always going to drop some larva meat, and he always drops his stomach bag. After that, there are a chance for him to drop a bunch of other loot. These other items include ancient gemstones, mechanical parts, iron ore, gold ore, some shiny larva meat, the larva ring, the larva chest, the flintlock musket, the gold pot lid, the gold pot tub, the Ghorm figure. You could get an amber larva. That's really rare, but it can happen. Rare candy, deceased explorer. The hand drill drops off of this guy if you're looking for that. Arcane staff, one of the best staffs in the game, that drops off of this guy, as well as chieftain armor. Now, to resummon Ghorm, you need to use his summoning idol. This is just like Glurch. However, Ghorm's summoning circle can be a little hard to find sometimes. So I'm going to open up my map here, and you can see Ghorm's track just circles around the entire inner biome area here, but we've got this little offshoot. And this is what you're looking for, is the offshoot. It's going to be somewhere on the track. It's going to be different in every map, but this is really what you're looking for. It'll sometimes go outward, sometimes it goes in closer to the core. Again, it's different. So once you find that offshoot, you just trace it down to the source, and here is Ghorm's summoning circle. This area is going to be littered with chrysalis and larvae, so be careful if you have a hard time fighting a lot of larvae at once. You're going to want to come in a little slow. I've already cleared this area out, so I don't have to deal with it right now. But just like Glurch or any other boss, you just place Ghorm's summoning idol on his circle, and he will appear and immediately start hunting down his track. I hope you found this video informative and helpful. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit that like button, subscribe for future content, and if you are feeling really generous, please join us on Patreon or become a YouTube member. Your support means the world to me, and I can't do it without you. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel. Stay happy, stay healthy, and above all, stay crazy.